Hey y'all, sorry for the video being a little later than usual, but we're having some work done in our bathroom right now. I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait to do the video until they were done, just in case there was going to be any noise or anything. But that's just a minor thing. It shouldn't happen again. Um, so if you're like me, I hated the idea of tech in school when I was growing up. I mean, I did pretty well on them, if I do say so myself. And some I didn't do well on. Some I didn't really even bother studying for. But, but yeah, I hated tech when I was growing up. I didn't like them. I studied for them and I'd do good on them, but I just didn't like them. But, you know, God doesn't like that either. But why? Why is it written, do not test the order of God? I don't get on Facebook much anymore. I mostly get on Messenger to keep up with my friends and everything. I make it in there once in a while to see what they're doing, see what I can pray for. but But when I do get on Facebook, I eventually see these posts. I'm not gonna say they're stupid posts. I'm not gonna try to verify them. They're just misleading and misguided. And you've probably seen these posts too. The kind of post that basically say this or you'll die at 4 a.m. Say this and you'll get a blessing. Say this to prove you're for Christ, or say this, and you get financial security, stuff like that. And as you can probably imagine, these posts irritate me to no end, and I don't like them. Not only because they are annoying and sometimes very confusing. I mean, sometimes you get sent a post and they send it to 50 people in 30 minutes and you get a blessing. That's just confusing. But that's the minor nitpick. That's not the main crux I have with it. The main crux I have with it, I came across one of these posts the other night. And I just was thinking about it a while after I saw it. I wasn't thinking about sharing it or anything, but I was just thinking, man, if I was superstitious person, which spiritual and superstitious are not the same thing. I want to make that clear. If I was superstitious person and I saw posts like this, theoretically, I don't think I'd be able to get a moment's peace because theoretically, there's millions of these posts being pumped out second after second after second. I can't snap, but you get my point. They're being they're being created rapid fire, much faster than anyone could ever send them out in the allotted time. And I mean, on the basis of what it says, I mean, you'd have to say every single one. You'd have to say every single one of those to be secure, which is literally impossible to do. I mean, there's no way you can say every one of these types of codes. But this testing, these tests as they're called, are not new. these Ted go back as far, back as far away as the devil touching Jesus in the wilderness. But why? Why does God not actually test? Why is it written that you shouldn't test your dear God? Because really, what these popes came to be, and I don't think this is what they are, but what they came to be anyway, is a test of your faith. A test of your faith in God. But there's a problem with that. These popes, in and of themselves, seem to suggest, they don't say it in as many words, but they seem to suggest there's a power higher than God. Or they seem to suggest you have some kind of autonomy or control over God if you say these popes a number of times, and you don't, you do not. But yeah, check out Luke 4:9 through Luke 4:9 through 12. Then he brought him up to Jerusalem. The devil brought Jesus up. This when Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days. Then he brought Jesus up and set him on the pinnacle of the temple and said to him, now listen to this, and said to him, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down from here. So he's testing Jesus much the same way that these popes came to test us. He quotes some scripture to him out of context, but he still quotes it to him. He said to him, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you, and in the hand they shall bear you up, yet you dash your foot against a stone. And Jesus answered and said, now we didn't call the devil out for his misquoting. He simply says this, and I like this because sometimes it's best not to be able to point that someone got wrong. Sometimes it's better to just quote what you know to be true and quote what is true rather than harp on what someone got wrong and go down that rabbit hole. And Jesus answered and said to him, it has been said, you shall not tempt your dear God. So that said, don't. You shall not tempt your dear God. Jesus endorsed this. It's not just the warning that God gave the Israelites in, I think it was Deuteronomy 6:5. He said, now do not tempt me as you did in Manasseh. But why? Why should we not tempt God? Well, there's a couple reasons. This testing, it can either be of your faith, it can be how much you love God, which is only impossible to love God more than He loves us. It's impossible to earn our favor with God, which in and of themselves may be what these folks may be trying to tell us. But also, these type of tests seems to imply that God owes us something. God owes us something for our faith, or faith in quotation marks. God owes us for our faith, or God owes us for being faithful to Him, or something like that. But you know what? And listen to me out and here. Listen to me out and here on this. God doesn't owe you anything. Not one single thing. Your life that you have now is more than enough. But you know what? Here's the beauty part of it. Here's the beauty part. God owes you nothing, but He wants to give you everything. He wants to give you everything because He loves you. And no amount of post that you say, no amount of reaction that you give, no amount of amen that you type will ever increase His love for you, because He already loves you more than you could ever imagine. And He doesn't need these types of man-made. And first of all, I should have mentioned this. These tests are not from God. They're man-made. They're, because most of them say or type amen or something, and you get a blessing or something. Regardless of that, regardless of all of that, God already loved you so much. And God is in control of death, your financial situation, your blessings. He's already in control of all that stuff. He already had the sign sealed and delivered when your life was put on this earth. And He doesn't need the types of quite frankly dangerous posts. These are dangerous, especially for a non-believer. He doesn't need the types of man-made tests to help me out with this, because He already loved you more than anyone ever could. And like I said, no amount of post or no amount of retweeting or whatever it is these days is going to increase the love God has for you, because He already loved you more than anything. God doesn't owe you anything, so the test are already invalid because He doesn't owe you anything. But regardless, He wants to give you everything. Even though He doesn't owe you anything, He wants to give you everything simply because He loved you, and simply because He created you, and simply because you're a child. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this helps somebody. When I see the type of test, I don't try to argue with them, because, one, when I do argue, people usually don't respond kindly. But secondly, when I do argue, usually it's just not a good situation to be in, really. It's not a good look for me, it's not a good look for them. But guys, I do hope this, this sermon helps some people out. I just want to share with you some truth today, and some truth of what God's word says, that you shouldn't test Him, because He owes you nothing, but He wants to give you everything because He loves you. Guys, I love you. I'll be praying for you. We'll get through this. God is above everything. Yes, even the coronavirus. I know it's a scary time right now, but God's above this thing that we're facing right now. I hope you all stay safe. I hope you all stay healthy. I'll be praying for you, and I'll see you next week.